you've been in this loop now where you're seeing a lot of singers and a lot of performers kind of come and you're being able to give them a lot of feedback.
Yes.
How has that made you think, if it has, how has it made you think differently about like your own performance and your own singing?
This year it's especially interesting and exciting. I've completed 2 solid first seasons, and the only 2 first seasons of the show, and here's why I even wanted or was interested in doing this. I wanted to do something that could, because I do like to take time in between albums, that would take me outside of myself for a second, experience something else, so that, of course, I'd have new material for my records. But I believed so wholeheartedly in the passion, or in the format rather of the show, the blind audition process. I was like, oh, another music show? Like, I don't need that. Why would I need to do that? And then I saw a clip, Mark Burnett, who's been fabulous. I love Mark so much, dear friend, at this point, and totally had my back and giving me a break and letting me be an artist too, so that we could then come back and be relevant, even better coaches on the show, coming with more experiences. But I went into it, blind auditions, taking it back to real music. I needed to do something, at least if it was, going to be TV, that was going to be real and touchable and honest. And I was like, I'm not doing it if we're going up there and we're going to bash people and make fun of them because we want ratings and all this shit. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to support talent. I want to, and I think all 4 of us, Adam, CeeLo, Blake, we all went into it holding hands together, like it was our passion project.
More Ed McMahon than Simon Fuller.
No, neither. Although Ed's, I don't know, Ed couldn't get my name right, so I can't defend him today. But
Wherever you are, Ed.
no, but now you're confusing me. But being a coach on the show has then inspired me. This season in particular, I have a predominantly young, pop-driven team who are so eager and so excited to learn. And the way it went down this season too is we have people coming in from like Fame School and whatever's out there. I don't know everything that's out there, but they come on, and it's like, coming from that background of Mickey Mouse Club and like, zing, here's my smile, turn it on, and all this stuff, and that campground, I've learned then coming into my own as an artist and as a woman, you take that experience because it's good for like press and whatnot, just to get through the work schedule and whatnot when you have to, do liners and things like that, like, hi, you're watching da-da-da-da-da, that personality. But then as an artist, forget all of that. And it's nice for me to be able to share that with this upcoming crowd that they're trying so much to emulate, the singers that they love, which is amazing. I have them come up and tell me, this team in particular this year is so young, and I won't take offense to that, but I grew up on your I grew up on your music. I love your music. I grew up trying to emulate your notes and execute the runs and belt the high notes, and to me that's just so amazing to hear, because then it takes me back to the place and time when I was just aspiring to hit Whitney's notes or Etta James's belts and that rasp in her voice, which is not about, and I tell the singers this all the time, it's not about hitting a note or this and that. It's about the emotion in it. And that comes later with time, I think. And what I try to help them understand is finding your own signature sound, not trying to really be like someone else. But I was inspired to now put out Lotus. And there's a few key songs on that record that some of them stay true to my pop roots. It embraces being a pop star, where after my first record, I was like, oh, I'm over being a pop star. I just want to do my own thing. And I have to do something real that I can feel. And that's why Stripped was called Stripped, because it was stripping myself down of everything I didn't feel was honest or real. And coming full circle now, over a decade in this business, I've had the greatest hits album, having been through many highs and lows, so much to say. It's a celebratory time in my life, though, where Lotus helps me to express that, and the key songs that I've dedicated truly to that next generation of talent and that next generation of singers. This time around, I gave them more to do vocally, and it was important for me, even though doing a Max Martin song, which is, it's great. He does what he does. We've come full circle, both of us, I think, to appreciate each other from a distance, to come to have a respect level for each other in what we do, that he let me still shine vocally. to, I hope, inspire that next generation. And these 6-year-olds who weren't around when I had Genie in a Bottle and, the Fighters and all that, they're coming up watching me in this big red chair, give advice. And it's so exciting for me to now show them what I do as a vocalist, as an artist, and share with them. I wrote a song called Army of Me that's like the 2.0 fighter for this next generation of 6-year-olds, to inspire them, because the world always just needs raw, genuine talent. Because there's a lot of auto-tune now going on and things like that, and that's all great, and that's, I think, an art form of itself to be appreciated. But
it just might not be the singer's art form.
But to
might be the
real
producer's art
singers,
form.
it's just so amazing. And that's what's so great about The Voice and the blind auditions and all that. No judgments, no commercialism, packaged up, made to look all cute and pretty by the label. It's just raw, real talent and voice.
I have to be fair. When I gave, when LA and Demi were on stage, I gave them a chance to share their opinion of The Voice. And so before I tell you what they said, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on the X Factor.
I mean, I know you're all laughing, and I guess I see why. I just
No. It was actually, well, I won't say anything.
No, I mean, honestly, I have not. And you guys are really not going to believe me when I say this, but I swear to God, I hope you understand that I'm an honest person by now, and I really am an open book. I've not actually seen an episode of any of the other music shows, a full episode. I saw the commercials of I kind of saw the commercials early on of American Idol, of Simon being a dick in the commercials and the whole thing. And I was like, man, that's not what music's about. That makes me sad. And so that's why I was kind of turned off by the whole thing, just by seeing the commercials and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I don't like treating people like that.
It's what you didn't want to do.
That's why I did want to do The Voice, to show that we can be positive and we don't have to knock people down. And thank you. And you don't have to knock people down, and you can, thank you, and you can, you support the music business. So support the business in general. It all works hand in hand. Look where Jennifer Hudson came from American Idol and went on for Dreamgirls and won an Oscar. I mean, that's amazing. If we just supported more talent like that. But getting back to that, I haven't seen a full episode. I'm sure they're doing a good job, but I don't know enough about it to judge. I know that we all have different formats. I know nobody has the blind auditions, and the big red buttons and chairs. No, but I mean, good for them. If I don't know what they're doing on the show, but I'm sure I don't even watch my own show, and that's the God honest truth too. I tape it. I'm out. I'm like, time to be mommy and time to work on my record, and then of course invest time in my team, picking songs, etc. I juggle a lot, so I don't really have time for much else.
What friendship have you formed, or who's become your closest sort of friend on the show between Adam Blake and CeeLo that maybe you didn't expect to sort of form a bond with?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Honestly, we've got a chemistry like a family. Sometimes, everyone knows me and Adam bicker and can get on each other's case and whatnot. I think when I came on the show, I didn't realize how actually competitive he is. So I was like, oh, hold up, wait, what? Salesman. And then it was just this thing that was ongoing and kind of fun. And CeeLo is just cool, and he's just comes from a real artistic, I think, value place. And Blake is just a good old time. Blake is just sitting there with his drinks and his, running his mouth. And he's actually become, maybe it's because he's the closest to me, I don't know, but him and I, he's my big bro, and he has a song on my album called Just a Fool, where we have a duet together. It's my first kind of country soul attempt, so it's really exciting. But he makes me smile and laugh like no other, and he's got my back and I have his back, and I truly adore Blake Shelton's shit.
There's a lot of in
a good way, in a great way.
There's going to be some beeping on this video when we run it.
Wait, I don't know. Who is this filmed for? Who does it go to? Is this bad? I don't know.
It's actually a live feed on national television right now.
I thought it was
No.
Then there would be a lot of beeping.
No, it's...
No, I thought this was real talk, man.
This is real talk.
Getting comfy.
You're good. It's just us.
Okay. Well, no, I thought that's what you wanted to hear.
It's good. It's great. Does anyone think this interview isn't going well? I mean,
okay.
So there are, there's a lot of folks in the crowd that are aspiring, producers and composers and songwriters and artists. You work with a lot of material, a lot of different songwriters. What's made great collaborators great over the years for you? What do you really look for, and like how do you work with people?
It's different things with different people. It's different chemistries. I appreciate realness, real people, real talent, real artists. I stray away from sort of the formulaic, sort of like, formatted, who's the hit maker of the moment? Let's go there. Like after my first record, I was kind of over that whole process, and I was very much getting my foot in the door for the first time. I wanted the label to sort of have help me, get out there, get my foot in the door. But then, I'm a message girl. At the end of the day, songs like "Beautiful," songs like "Fighter," other songs on my records. If you listen, they're very introverted and can be very vulnerable, but empowering. And that's the kind of music I wanted to put out in the world. I was tired of singing about fluff and candy and genie in a bottle, and I didn't want to go the formula route. So I strayed away from, per se, going to the more formula dancey route, which is, the genius that Max Martin is, and that's his territory, to now be able to come full circle and, respect each other to work now. But back then, I went to the most unpop people. I went to DJ Premier, to work on Back to Basics, because I loved his work with Gang Starr, and I loved how he infused jazz and big, heavy hip-hop beats. I worked with, on Bionic, I worked with amazing, I was being inspired by the future. I just had my baby. I felt like all Bionic woman. I was like, women can do anything. We give birth. Look at us. We're amazing. And I went into this whole, like, being inspired by the future and electronica music. So I went underground, and I worked with Ladytron, and I worked with La Tigra, and I worked with Sia, who had come from 07. I worked with a then upcoming Nicki Minaj. It was just like I went for a little more underground approach, and I just wanted to experiment and make this futuristic sound. It was a more artistic record than commercially driven record. But that's the stuff that gets me off. And so working with producers that are willing to take the risks, that are willing to understand your creative headspace. Going into working on each record, I had the vision of like Back to Basics, 20s, 30s, 40s inspired, Bionic Future inspired, you strip down, really raw, organic, more of a real approach with songs like Beautiful. Going into each record, I'm a very mood board visual person. So I would put together sort of what I wanted the album packaging to look like, certain songs that were inspiring me to fit this concept and vision that I wanted. I would put together musical mood boards and CDs that I would then send a producer package to and say, get into this headspace, get into this world. This is where I'm thinking, and it made it easier for some producers, but some producers just kind of like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? They're so set in doing their own thing. But I think something amazing can be birthed whenever you're just open to the experience and you're open to the joy of creating something new and something wonderful and not so maybe cliche or trying to be the #1 hit on the charts and this and that. Like I just the songs that I love sometimes are the B songs and what some people call filler songs, which I hate the word filler because it's just that's a word I think used for people that really make filler songs that like make songs to fill an album, but everything I do comes from heart and whatnot. My favorite people to work with, Sia is one of them. She comes in, singer-songwriter. She just writes the most beautiful, amazing ballads. Now she's making a name for herself on a more broad commercial scale with a lot of more dance-driven stuff, and she's just an incredible singer. But she came in and she just is this. She writes such serious songs. I was like, oh, she's gonna be this serious person, and I'm nervous to meet her, and I just want her to get me and understand, I'm not a cheesy pop star, and and she comes in, and because I want something real and depth, and she's got that, and she came in, and she's all nervous, and she's the most bubbly person in the world, but once she starts singing and getting into her thing, you're just sucked into this world of like, wow, this it's inspiring to be around real creative energy and people that exude creativity and passion for what they do. I love that. That's the best experience. Sorry, I know we're running out of time, but when you're running, I know I've had bad experiences too. There have been people in the room that, I've been in the room with like wannabe Max Martins who they've been in the room with Max maybe and they try to emulate what he's doing and his sort of sound, and then they try to take themselves too seriously and they come in and they're like, this is how it should be. I was like, oh, okay, can we get a key change? What can you try it like this first? Like da-da-da-da. And I'm all good. I love collaborating, obviously. I collaborate with people every record. I collaborate with new people. I love bringing them in. I love co-writing. But yeah, it just like they were trying to be bigger than, they were. And I think there's something to be said. Like I had to get my foot in the door. I had to play the game at first, the Genie in a Bottle and all those songs that were great for that. I thank God for them to give me the creative freedom now. But, egos too soon are just so yucky. I just, I don't like them. I just think that you have to eat some humble pie before, and earn the hard work. I've worked a long time. I've been working basically since I was 4 years old and grown up in this business, grown up in the spotlight. You take a lot of hits, in the public eye and all that. It's hard. So the people that make it easy and make it fun and enjoy the ride and have something truly great and creative to offer and to give and to share and to be open with, that's what it's all about to me.
Do you know when? Yeah, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Do you know when the magic has happened? Like when you're in the studio and someone plays you Beautiful for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Were you just like, that's it?
Yeah, it was very important for me to write on my stripped record because obviously I had things to say that were personal. But when Linda Perry brought me the song and I met Linda Perry is one. She's a amazing artistic energy to be in the same room with too. She's raw and she's real and she intimidates a lot of men, very grown men.
She intimidates me just on Twitter, to be honest with you.
Oh God, does she have a Twitter? God knows what she says on Twitter. Woo!
A lot of crazy shit. No, she's kind of awesome. If you don't follow Linda Perry on Twitter, I recommend it.
She's amazing. So yeah, I was having a really bad day. I came into her studio. It was at her house at the time, before the success of Beautifuls, and I think Get the Party Started, which had just come out. And I worked with her. I was working with her on a bunch of stuff, but she was like, "You're having a bad day," and she just kind of sat down at the piano in her dining room, and just kind of started like, every day is so wonderful. Suddenly it's hard to breathe. It was just very simple. It was very. Thank you.
That's powerful. I mean, we're sure.
It was very simple, and like, how powerful, first of all, are those lyrics? I mean, it's really empowering to be able to say, I have insecurities. It's hard for me to breathe sometimes. I can't take it. Like, I feel ashamed, Like, those are really big statements. I have a song on my new record called, I did with Sia, called Blank Page, actually, that reminds me of the vulnerability of Beautiful. But yeah, Beautiful was just so, it was...
Is it also a ballad, Blank Page?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And Beautiful was just so, obviously when you hear it, you just get sucked right into it. I think it's just universally relatable to everyone in every situation who feels like an outcast or feels maybe not so comfortable in your skin all the time. And it's so empowering to own your insecurities and embrace your imperfections. That was also the first time that she was like, why do you try to do all those frills and all those, what do you call them, ad-libs and all this? And I'm like, well, I love soul music. That's what I was raised on, and that's what it feels good to come out of me. And she's like, yeah, don't do all that Mariah shit. I want you to try and like, no, but this is her talking, not me. I love that shit. But she was like, yeah, don't be doing all that acrobatic shit. She's like, come on, just sing. And let's just, so Beautiful ended up being like, and it was more
I love that the
scary.
person who wrote that song also apparently curses like a sailor.
Oh my God, Linda Perry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till if you all have the joy of meeting Linda Perry. She's an amazing person to be around.
We had mentioned, just a couple quick questions, then we'll maybe take an audience question or two. You mentioned, I was kind of joking about Linda Perry on Twitter. Do you engage with fans that way? Like, are these social platforms, are they important for you as a way to like kind of connect with fans, or is it something that you have to be kind of careful with because you can get a lot of feedback and maybe some of it's not the feedback you really want?
I haven't even thought about it too deeply like that. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to age myself, but yeah, I've been in it over a decade, and when I first came out, there was no such thing as Twitter or Facebook or even the paparazzi being at the level that it is now, and the tabloids being just so nasty, or blogs, like what is that? Like that's all happened really recently over the past maybe 5 years, to be honest, at the height of that, I think. So it's something that, I sort of live in my own creative world and cave and with my son too, that's a hat that I wear that's decompartmentalized from the artist me, where in the videos being sexy and whatever and expressing my sexuality as a woman, which is a very big, important part of myself as a woman and as an artist to express that. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, I was just wondering if you... You can just keep going. It's all good.
Sorry.
I was kind of wondering about...
Why do I even need you here? And I'm like, anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Now I'm sad,
making a
sad
joke.
Bill Worthy.
I'm making a joke.
We put you on the cover, man.
I love it. And
so-
you always have been very supportive. Yeah, I love you guys.
So it's all love here. It's cool.
It's all love.
So no, what I was asking was some artists love engaging on Twitter and really like hearing from fans.
So social media. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Getting back to that. Yes, Creative Cave, the whole thing. And again, when you get too into that, it becomes like then you're interested in reading what people are saying about you and this and that. I find it at this point, well, first of all, I opened a Twitter. I was really late to it because I really just didn't care. I was like, to me, it was presented like, this is what I'm having for breakfast this morning. It's like, who cares, like really? Like, do I really need to like open up like that? But then I realized, there are times, I said something on Twitter the other day because seeing people's, I love the creative process so much. I hate the numbers factor after it of like, oh, who gets what credit and people want, a percentage of this and that all the business stuff like really bothers me and annoys me. And it takes all the beauty out of creativity.
That's why you pay Irving Azoff. He finds creativity.
Irving's been
numbers.
Amazing. Yes, he has been able to give me this, the voice,
the freedom not to worry
the freedom,
about.
Yeah, but being able to share moments where it's like you're having a bad day, and it's like being able to be like greed is a fucking ugly thing, you know what I mean? And I said something the other day on Twitter and I was like, oh, this is what you can use Twitter for. So I might have opened up a whole new can of worms, right? An appreciation for it. And you get to share with your fans, but I just didn't want anything to be generic because I find some people to use it just so, I don't know, it's just frivolous in a way.
Your fans on Twitter are bananas, by the way, because
I need to give them more. I know.
No, they crave it badly.
I know.
They found out that I was doing this Q&A, and I've had like a steady stream of feedback from your fans, but it's great.
Amazing.
I mean, it shows how much.
Well, I opened it up too. I said I was late on the game because I had to do it for the show, The Voice, because it's very social media driven, with the votes and things like that,
Sure.
and so I opened up myself to that world then. But I think it'll be really fun once I'm on tour. Actually.
And one last question for you. The album, Lotus, it's coming out
Yes.
November 13th.
Yes.
If you want to give folks maybe just a little, not that any artist should explain their art, but if you want to give folks a little preamble or a tease of what to expect or what you'd like them to think about hearing it.
Well, Lotus, I chose that word. I've been through a lot over the past couple years, coming off of burlesque, going into sort of record mode. But after I did that movie, I sort of needed a moment to digest and to process and then be myself outside of the character that I played, Allie. Because I'm used to being myself all the time. So stepping outside of myself for that long of a time period, because it was a lot of musical numbers, so it was a long shoot. It was a lot, so I needed a second to get back to me. So that's why I also took The Voice. Keeps me in LA. I don't have to travel, and it was a wonderful opportunity of a show. Mark Burnett was so warm and amazing. So I took The Voice, and a lot has happened between experiencing being a coach on The Voice. I went through a divorce, so all of those things over the past few years, coming from, growing from, learning from, having a few, setbacks, maybe, the press not being so kind over, the past few years at one given time or another. We had that little anthem mishap. And I brought it up, not even you. No, but, and shit happens, man. Stuff happens. This is the business. It's not going to be all cute and pretty and tied up in a good little bow. Not if you're like, you're living life. And I've lived my life a long time under this microscope in this weird world. The older I get, the weirder it is for me to understand, how odd it really is to be in this position, because you're living your life like everyone else. It's just, especially now that I'm a mother, because you're taken away from a little bit of superficiality with everything, and it's you're a mom at the end of the day. But all of that combined is in Lotus, and it's embracing the woman that I've become, the woman that I've grown to be, and embracing myself full circle as a pop star. Being on The Voice has made me realize it, and being face to face with my superstar little pop star team I have this season on The Voice has been inspiring and inspires me. It's made me come full circle, appreciate the journey of the last decade plus, and embrace the woman I am. And artistically, I chose Lotus because it represents the unbreakable flower that stands the test of time, that no matter the roughest of weather conditions or the toughest of times, it remains strong and continues to thrive. It's a nod to my fans who have been here with me the whole journey, and a nod to myself and embracing myself and appreciating. On the cover, I'm sort of coming from this white light that's blown out, and I wanted my hands to sort of be extended, sort of open and embracing the positive white light. I don't have any time for the static noise, and it's a record of freedom and embracing that, and hopefully inspiring others to be their very best. As I said, the next generation of singers, and it's very artistic at times, it's very fun at times, it's very free, and I just think that's how music should be and how life should be, and away from all the negativity. So I hope you guys enjoy Lotus when you hear it.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So